I think that if the service is good, 100% you can tip.
I think the main problem is salaries in the first place.
It's probably a bad way to like...
Tipping culture is out of control. Everyone wants to be tipped. Why do I need to give a tip? It's only water.
台湾部分餐厅会收取服务费，国外也有不同的小费文化。到底服务真的值钱吗？来看看外国人对小费的看法。
Is tipping common in your country?
Yeah, it's expected. Now I think the standard is about 20%. Some places ask you want to tip 25, 30%. It's a lot. But it's almost kind of an insult if you go below 20.
In the UK, you don't have to. Just if you get good service, you should pay a tip.
We do tip, but only at the nicer restaurants, not at any other facilities.
How much do they pay?
10%.
Yeah, well, I'm in the United States, usually about somewhere between 15 to 20%. I'd say it kind of depends whether if I'm in a sit-down restaurant, I'll usually lean more towards like 20%. But even sometimes I'll have the option to do that at like takeout as well. So usually then I only do like 10%.
Not a lot. I didn't see a lot of you. It depends of the location. If you eat in a restaurant, people most likely they give tip, you know. But when you just eat like soft service, they don't give tip.
And how much do you usually tip?
In Philippines, it is only $4. But in the US, it's big. Because in the US, sometimes you give 20.
I want to know what is your opinion on tipping?
I think that if the service is good, 100% you can tip. It should not be a sort of ingrained culture, again, like America has, where you're forced to tip. Even if they're rude and like that, you still have to tip them, which is kind of a slap in the face in my opinion. I think it's very good.
Because I think you guys here in Taiwan, you don't earn enough. I think tipping would tip the balance between okay and good.
I think you definitely should tip based on the service, but I think the main problem is salaries in the first place. They should be getting paid more in the first place to not even need to have to tip for them to be able to live.
Tipping culture is out of control. Everyone wants to be tipped. Now they want to tip for carry-out orders. Your nail tech wants to tip. Your barber wants to tip. Everybody wants to tip. So it's a lot. I wish that was a standard.
I think when traveling, it's a bit annoying because you don't know what to do. You have to Google, should you tip? I think the easiest for everyone would be if it is included in the price already.
But do you think tipping is reasonable?
It's probably a bad way to like make that extra money that you need.
Yeah.
It should be like supplied in some other way than just like by the goodwill of people who come to the restaurant. I like how we have it in Sweden.
We just want to ask you, what was the best service experience that you've ever had?
It reminds me of a pub. Well, they get me a beer quickly, and then they get me another beer quickly.
And do they give you provide you some extra service?
Like some nuts.
And how much did you tip at the time?
10 to 20%, yeah. So there was this one time that me and my girlfriend went to this really fancy restaurant in Edinburgh. The people there were lovely. They were constantly coming to the table. They were telling us about all the wines that they were giving us, all the food, where it was from. And especially by the end of the night, me and her were very drunk, chatting to all the staff. And it was, honest to God, one of the best times. I honestly think I might have given them about £100 tip that night. But they were so lovely. I just took the money out of my wallet and was like, here you go. This is for you.
Definitely in my restaurant.
Really? Can you tell?
It's called On Tap. Service is great.
Okay.
谁让你业配了？
I think if somebody just tries to be helpful, maybe customer needs a taxi or needs some information about where you can go, then this would mean good service.
Did you have any experience that have some customers pay tip to the waiters?
In Taipei, it's only Americans who tip. Yeah.
So will you give these pay to those waiters?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, cool. You're the good boss.
No, this tips is for the staff only.
I went to a restaurant, Tomagashi. Yeah, basically, they gave me a free umbrella as a souvenir because they saw that it was raining outside. It was like, oh, hey, you want anything to cover yourself? They're like, you want this? And I was like, oh, okay, sure.
Did you tip?
In Japan, no. Because tipping in Japan isn't really like something they do. They really don't feel offended by it.
How about what was your most unwilling tipping experience?
Like when you pay with card, usually nowadays, they've got the little, do you want a tip at the bottom? And it feels a bit awkward because you don't want to look in their face and press no. And you just feel really awkward doing it. But By the time that I'm drunk, I'm just like, no, you're not getting anybody out there.
I think in Asia, when I discovered this, the 10% service charge, when I discovered this is not for the staff, it's just 10% more for the owner, then that was the worst experience, yeah.
We were in Portugal once. Some guy drove us 5 meters in the car with our bags, and then he dropped us off. And he stood in the door demanding a tip. We were like, you didn't really do anything. Why should I tip you? Because it's customer advances.
In the US, when you go to an airport, you buy a drink, you don't need to give them a tip, right? But now you have to use a credit card and they put the tip in there. I said, what? Why do I need to give a tip? It's only water. I don't like to be forced. I'm willing to get.
When it's not mandatory, do you willing to pay to tip?
Sure, always. If it's good service. I reward good service, yeah. Yeah, it's especially if I think the service is worth it. I mean, sometimes I definitely think you don't need to tip. But I do think mandatory tipping ensures that people are getting paid for what they're doing. The work they deserve, or the money that they deserve.
As long as they get a livable wage, then no, I wouldn't. But I'd say that's just what it comes down to. I want to make sure they're just getting their bread too.
Even though sometimes you're not happy or satisfied, you can still give a little. It's like that, $5. But normally, if you're good, you're happy, you give $15 or $15.
Yeah, I'm willing to tip, especially if there's drinks involved.
So if the service is not good to you, you wouldn't tip?
I wouldn't tip. If I think you're being an arsehole, I just won't pay up.
喜欢这个优质的创作者，就赶快去 follow 他哦！你有发现其他更具爆红潜力的影片吗？赶快投稿给达人秀吧！点击下方观看更多有趣内容。